this is Case from Q101. This is a Case for, a show in which I have coerced management and letting me talk to my favorite bands. We are once again backstage at the Salt Shed, and it is my pleasure to introduce Nathan from Microwave. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Having a great day.
Good. We're doing double camo hat. This is a first for a Case for. It's nice to see somebody else joining this brigade. I must say, you look absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, some people are only going to hear the audio of this. They won't get to see you. But let me assure you, for the audio listeners, he looks stunning. Welcome back to Chicago.
Thank you.
Of course. Of course. A quick behind-the-scenes note, this is like the interview that the Salt Shed did not want to happen. We showed up and we're like, we're here to talk to Microwave, and they were like, no, you're not. And we have fought our way backstage to the Salt Shed. We are here now. You guys are playing with Rise Against and Spiritual Cramp tonight. Spiritual Cramp, of course, has already done a Case for. That is on Q101's YouTube channel, and Rise Against has been with Q101 for 20 years now. So what a delightful show to be on. It's a quick tour for you guys, but I would imagine a fun one.
Yeah. No, we're stoked to be here.
Good. Your band, it's hard to believe now, it's been 10 years since your debut record. First of all, does that make any sense to you, that you've spent this much time being in this band?
That is pretty insane. There was, especially there was the whole time period of like 2020 and 2021 felt like it didn't even happen. So, it snuck up on us pretty quick. Being a band for 10 years.
Think back to your early days for just a second. Do you remember like goals that you might look back on and now go like, oh man, we were aiming so small, but you think back 10 years ago and you're like, God, if we could just get on this tour, if this website would just pick up this song, this would be the biggest thing for us?
For sure, yeah, no, right there at the beginning of our career in like 2016 to 2018 and stuff, or I guess that's not quite 10 years ago now. But there was a handful of tours and stuff that we did that I was like, if we never do anything again, I can say we toured with Jimmy Eat World and like Motion City soundtrack and
absolutely
did like Warped Tour and stuff. I was like, if I do nothing else with the band in my life, at least when I'm like an old man, I'll be able to be at dinner and be like, I played in a band. We toured with Jimmy Eat World. People will be like, oh, I know Jimmy Eat World.
Exactly. I always feel like with bands, like people as they're coming up, they're like, just give me the one band that like I could tell my parents at Thanksgiving, like, we did a show with them, like we're doing okay.
Yeah, no, that's what that was for me back then. Yeah, and honestly, back then in like 2016 to 2018, I was already like fully satisfied. I was like, whoa. Guess I gotta set some new goals now, we've gotten to play do like Australia tours now, and like been to Europe like 4 or 5 times, and UK like 9 times. So it's like being able to be around the world and stuff is another bucket list thing where it's like I don't know where to set the goals now. You just try to financially support yourself or something.
Well, that certainly counts for something. I love that.
Yeah.
I am curious because as we're recording this, and this will be out probably the first week in November, but as we're recording this, the announcement was made yesterday that Warped Tour is going to come back as a festival.
Yeah.
Which,
with no lineup announced. They dropped the ability to buy tickets, but they didn't even say the bands that were playing.
Give us $150 and we promise it'll be okay. I am curious though, like when you think about Warped, right? What comes to mind? Because I've become a little bit fascinated by this experience talking to people like Dan Campbell from the Wonder Years, right, and other bands that have played Warped, where it's like that seems like it was the hardest thing imaginable. But if you got over there, if it worked out for you, I would imagine it was incredibly rewarding.
Oh yeah, no, it was one of the most fun things. We would for sure do it again in a heartbeat. It's like while you're doing it, there's like 1 mile load-ins in Las Vegas when it's 115 degrees sometimes and stuff, where you're like pulling a cart and you're like, this is ridiculous and sweaty, and there's no place to be away from the heat. But it's like there's like a barbecue every night and stuff, and it's like a big hangout, like a camp or something, and it's real fun. We would definitely do it again.
Good. A Case for is, I would say, famously a show where sometimes people name drop. I give them that opportunity. Is there anybody you rub shoulders with on Warped Tour that you're like, yeah, I'm in the same room as so and so. Like, this is pretty cool.
The Ataris were on the same stage as us, and we hung with them a good little bit there. Actually, there's someone who was playing bass with them on that tour. Like, I'm not sure if he was an original, or he was not an original member, but he was on our bandwagon for a few days, like slept on our bandwagon.
Really?
So we like became bros. Yeah, no, we had an interesting stage. We were on like the punk, there was like the Full Sail stage theater that we did it, and it had like Knocked Loose and Boston Manor and Trophy Eyes and a bunch of bands that were like in like the Pure Noise Records adjacent scene, like us or whatever, that we were like, we should be on the small Full Sail stage because it was like one of the more hype things. And then we had like ours was more like eclectic of like a mix and everything. We had like a band from Greece that was like a punk band and stuff, and it was just kind of like we had a Ailstorm, the pirate metal band from Scotland.
Really?
Which was one of the greatest bands I've ever seen. So, but it was like that stage or whatever.
Holy cow!
But yeah, so we had the chance to chill with the Taris a little bit and stuff. That was cool. And let's see. Yeah, just in general being there, we made friends with their movements. Also was on and it was like right before they blew up and everything. But we got to hang out with all the people on the Full Sail stage a good bit because we shared a bandwagon with Knocked Loose too, and it was like that was the summer that Knocked Loose was just like I hadn't even heard of Knocked Loose before when they were like, do you want to share a bandwagon with this other band on Pure Noise Records? We're like, yeah, we'll save some money. And then and I started listening to their music then. And then by the end of the summer, it was like literally the biggest set at Warped Tour and stuff. But we were in a wagon with their drummer and Isaac the guitarist and Cole who was playing guitar with them and stuff. They had the guys split up and everything. But it was fun time.
That's what's up. For those that haven't seen it, A Case For Knocked Loose, also on Q101's YouTube channel, filmed to the next door to us at the Salt Shed. Those guys have done okay for themselves.
Great band, yeah. They deserve
they're
everything.
Sweethearts too.
Yeah, no,
they're so
awesome.
nice.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. So you guys are on Pure Noise now. Am I correct in remembering? Because this was my sweet spot. Like for reference, I graduated high school in 2017. So by the time your second record had come out, that was on Side One Dummy, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, much love. Yeah.
Much love to them. I asked this with pure innocence because I was somebody at the time who was just consuming anything that like Run for Cover or Side One put out, because Side One had Jeff Rosenstock and Chris Farron and Pup, and it was like, oh my God, getting into the scene at that time, this was the greatest label. What happened with them? Because it just seemed like one day Side One Dummy was, at least in terms of the catalog they had, this juggernaut in underground music, and then it was just gone. And I, to this day, don't really know what happened. I don't know what you can say about it, but I am curious.
Well, at the time that in like 2018 or 17 or whatever it was, then they told us that somebody told us they were just going to be like a catalog label for the most part. Because, I mean, the main thing that happened is they had a whole staff there. They had like Jamie Haleto was doing like PR and marketing and stuff, and they had like 8 people on the staff and everything that worked in their office there on like in Hollywood, California, and everything. And then the 2 owners just they like laid off everyone that was staff or whatever, and then it was like just the 2 owners, and then they put out more records, but they just like outsourced, like hired people to do like the label services type stuff, like
interesting,
like
okay,
just paid out of so it lost like the like dynamic of it being like a small group of people that work together to put out records, whatever, and just became kind of like the name, which is like they have the right to do that, obviously.
Of course,
it's their label and everything. And they've been doing it the other way since like 1995 or something. I can't remember the first year Side One Dummy, but since like back in the day with like
since the original Warped Tour, basically
Flogging Molly and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. That's too bad. Well, you're on Pure Noise now. Pure Noise has the most loaded roster in music, I think. How did you end up there post Side One Dummy?
Our manager Nick Coleman has a good relationship with everyone at that label and stuff, and we had met them in passing as well, and but they're cool people and
good.
Whatnot.
Good. I like it.
Well,
you've got the new record out. Let's Start Degeneracy. It really the collection of songs that came out in the EP first, I was like, my God, this is the best work Microwave has ever done. And then the record came out, I went, oh my God, it's even better. Like this is it really built on itself nicely. Mm-hmm. The song that sticks out to me most on that record that I'm curious about is Bored of Being Sad. I have an interpretation of it that I'll ask you about in just a second, but in your mind, when you sat down to write that song, at one moment it was nothing, now we hear the finished product. Talk to me about the creation of that song and what you were intending to say with it, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so that song actually was written over a real long period of time. I had like half of the chorus with like the melody of the chorus written back in 2016 when we were doing Much Love and stuff, but it was just kind of, I didn't have the whole concept, so I sat on it for a while and stuff, and then we made like completely different sounding music and stuff that it didn't fit on, and did other shit for a while. I'm allowed to say whatever.
All good. It's all good. Everybody does that. You're all good. It's on YouTube.
You just can't say all the words in the Blink-182 song, right?
That's right.
That's right.
That's our only rule here.
Those are the only words. Okay, I think I'm good on that one. Okay, but so. Yeah, no, but it was just intended to be like, there's like the two. One is like, I like the implication that you can just like choose to not be sad anymore and be like, yeah, I'm bored of that. I'm gonna stop being sad. But it's, it's a double entendre.
That's the correct
is
usage
that the
of
word?
it. You nailed it. You nailed it.
Like it's like I'm bored of being sad in that, in that you're still sad and you're sick of it or whatever, or you're bored of being sad, like, oh, I'm done with this now, I'm gonna do something else, kind of vibe. But which was kind of what I was playing off of with it, because obviously we're in like the emo realm and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's like a certain element with the emo realm when you're a songwriter where you start to think like if you have like a family member die or something, everyone's like, oh, you gonna write a real sad, emotional tearjerker about your family member dying or something? It just becomes like a trope or like a cliche kind of thing where it's like you gotta like think of new reasons to be sad in order to like have material.
Yeah.
Which is a funny thing to like I'll be working on new songs that kind of call for that kind of lyric, because that's like the tonal element of the song and stuff, and then you just have to like think of things that make you feel that way, which is kind of like sometimes like a seemingly like not helpful life habit.
Yeah, state of mind to be in.
But it's like a cathartic thing though, I guess, though, too. So it's on one level you like spend more time thinking about the things that make you upset, but then on the other level you can, at least you're not like ignoring them,
Absolutely.
That might be worse than you have the repressed, like, whatever.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up about emo at large, because that was actually my follow-up question here. Is I remember I saw Hot Mulligan last year, and there was a moment on stage in between songs where their singer said something along the lines of like, who here is sad all the time? And I kind of rolled my eyes because I was like, oh man, like I thought they were like above that like try hard sadness thing. And then some people cheered, and he was like, stop doing that, stop living your life like that, like we need to stop embracing as a genre being sad all the time. And I got fired up. What do you think about that? Because like it's weird, right? And I say this with no hate, because Sad Summerfest has been a good partner to Q101, and like they've put on 6 shows, but it's kind of weird that we exist in a genre where they're like, no, you should be bummed out all the time, like this is part of the culture. And I don't know. I feel like that's weird, and I was so stoked when Bored of Being Sad came out, because it was like, no, you can write a good emo song that isn't celebrating like being in just like this bleak state of mind.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
that was the intention too. Was kind of like trying to like liberate ourselves from the sadness in the process of writing the song.
Good. Well, I've got 2 more questions for you here, because you got to go play a sold out show with Rise Against, and there's a bunch of people that are stoked for it. I did read, at least I believe I read, correct me if I'm wrong, you did some ayahuasca before you recorded this record. Am I right in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm straight edge. So
yeah.
I have zero background with it. I don't know what's up with that at all, but can you explain that process to me, and if it helped with your creative state in any way whatsoever?
Yeah, me and Tito, who plays drums, have been into psychedelics for a long time. We got real into microdosing back in like 2016 or something.
Ahead of the curve.
For like 2 or 3 years back in the day, we're doing that, and then we discovered the way that we do it more so these days or whatever, which is doing like a larger dose and then just like laying on the ground and chilling and stuff, and just treating it like a ice bath or like a. But I mean, if you take like 3 or 5 grams of mushrooms or something, and just, or 5 grams plus, like the hero dose and whatnot. I feel like that kind of stuff has like more of like a therapeutic long-term effect, because it's kind of like if you do like the relaxation exercise where it's like, now tense up your toes and like your legs and then like release that or whatever. It's like doing that with your brain. So you're just like, you get really hyper overstimulated and stressed kind of or whatever, and then like the normal day-to-day life stressors are just like, that's nothing compared to 5 grams of mushrooms. I was like inducing a panic attack basically and stuff. But the ayahuasca is a similar experience, except for you add to the equation that you just have to either like throw up or shit yourself every single time. It's pretty much just like you purposefully ingest the flu, which is part of it, like traditionally and stuff too. Like the idea is that like the stuff you throw up is kind of like has like emotional weight or like nervous system weight or some, I don't know what the correct terminology, some spiritual like things you needed to get out, like trauma, people like, or whatever, PTSD type things. But to me, I'm like a scientific, I tend to be like a skeptic and everything. So like for me, I'm not as much of like a spiritual in that way person, like a because some people do the ayahuasca and it's like I saw God and it's like a religious experience and stuff. But for me, I think of it more on like a therapeutic, like emotional level, or therapeutic, like helping with anxiety, depression, and whatever type of mental health things and stuff.
That's what's up.
But that's more what it has been for me. It's interesting, like being able to like hit reset and stuff.
Yeah.
Forget all of your habits for like a temporary 4-hour period of time where you're like, what language do I speak? And then when you come back, you're like, it's like you completely got to reset and you're just like relearning how to do everything as you come out of it. And you're like, why do I do things that make me unhappy? I can just like choose to do things that make me happy. What am I doing?
People need to get bored of being sad, right? They could just choose to, live a better life. Before I let you go, I'm so curious. It feels like with every Microwave album, you guys tackle a completely different sound. It always goes in a completely different direction. I never really know what's coming next for you. Obviously, you have the weight of releasing one album off of your shoulders this year, but do you have any idea in mind for what you might want to tackle next? What's next in store for Microwave?
Yeah, there's a handful of things. I mean, we're working on some new music, doing some collaborations with other artists, which will be real exciting, and 6 songs. I'm stoked for those to come out. And then there's new music, like new records slowly being worked on. We're always kind of working both directions, where there's like heavier songs and then there's like real chill songs or whatever, and it's kind of like the songs that get done are just what gets done. Like, so it's time sometimes for some heavy songs to be written, and it's the lyrics mostly, like I was saying before, like it's there. Sometimes you just don't know like what the content of the song would be at a given time. For it's like, I know what like the tone of this emotionally, but I don't know what the narrative I would say is.
Yeah.
So the thing that gets done is just kind of what gets done. But yeah, no, we have some real chill songs that are like jammy and bluesy and groovy and stuff or whatever. And then there's like some heavier Alice in Chainsy, whatever stuff.
I can't wait. That sounds fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Well, before I let you go, is there anything that you would like to tell the people of Q101? Let them know.
Check us out. We're Microwave. We love Chicago. We played Riot Fest a few times, and is always like our favorite. Chicago and Boston are the 2 best cities for us to play in the United States, outside of our hometown of Atlanta, Georgia.
Way to save face.
Which we love.
I won't tell Atlanta. You almost forgot them.
Outside of Atlanta, yeah, we love Chicago, and it's always been real kind to us. So, the more, the merrier.
That's what's up. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for your time, man. This has been A Case For with Microwave. If you like this, new episodes every Monday on Q101's YouTube channel. Jeff Rosenstock, Knocked Loose, Militarie Gun. If there's a band that you like, I've probably talked to them. In the meantime, I'm on Instagram @_Case Lowe. That is CaseLowe, and Q101 is all around the Chicagoland area and online. Thank you so much for watching.
Hell yeah. Thank you.